In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to create this logo animation that you see on the screen in After Effects. Here we are in After Effects and we will start by creating a new composition. We will be using the standard settings. I'll call this bowl. Click OK, and then the first thing you want to do is select ellipse tool and then make sure to have a fill and have no stroke. So have stroke at none, and then we draw a circle while holding Ctrl and Shift. We draw a small circle, and then I'll press Ctrl Home to center it into the screen, and then I'll trim this to 1 second long. Now press P and set a keyframe to position at the beginning, and then go to the end of it and then move its X position like so. I'm gonna turn on the title action save so I can see the center point of the screen. So I move this a little more. Now select both of these keyframes, press F9, go to graph editor, and if your graph doesn't look like this, then right click and then check this one, edit speed graph, and then adjust the curves like that. Now duplicate this, Ctrl D to duplicate it, press U, and then click on this stopwatch icon to remove the keyframes, but the position stays the same, and then move this into the end of first one. And now we are gonna select this second shape and then press Y to select pen behind tool, and then move the anchor point into the center of the screen roughly, and then press R for rotation. Set a keyframe to it at the beginning and then move to the end of it, and then change this to 90. Now select both of these, F9, and then do the same adjustments into the curve. Now duplicate this again, Ctrl D, and then move this into the end of second one. Go to the last keyframe, press U, and then click on this to remove the rotation keyframes so the position stays the same. Now go to the beginning, press P, and then we are gonna center the anchor point to the circle now. So we press Ctrl Alt Home. It's centered, so set a keyframe on position, go to the end of it, and then press Ctrl Home to center it into the screen. Now select both of these keyframes, press F9, go to graph editor, and then do the same adjustment into the curves. Now create a new composition and then call this 3 balls. Click OK, and then we are gonna import, drop the ball composition over here, and then duplicate it twice so it becomes 3. And then for this last one, we are gonna right click on it and then go to time and then add freeze frame so this one doesn't move. And now we are going to go to 1 second and then change the rotation for the second one to minus 180. And then we can change the colors for each of those. So we go to effects and presets and then type in fill, give it a fill, so we click on this color, and then I'm gonna be giving it this color, so it's a personal preference. You can give your own colors. So I'll select the other one, apply the same effect, and then give it this color. Now create another composition and then call this logo. Now go over here, right click, and then go to new, solid. Doesn't matter the color, we are gonna be using this as bait. So now go to effects and presets and type in fractal noise, apply it into the solid, and then we are gonna increase the contrast value a little and then brightness like so, and then go to evolution, alt click on it, and then type in time multiply 150. So we get this effect, and then we are gonna import, drop the logo onto the project, and then have this track matte selected. You can click on here if you don't see it, and then change this, change the track matte for solid to alpha matte. So we have this effect now. I'm gonna scale the logo down to around 60%. And now I'm gonna apply a tint effect to the white solid. So go to effects and presets, type in tint, and then I'll give the same blue color to this one. Now we want to create another composition, so go to project and then click on new composition, and then name this text. And now we are gonna select the text tool and then type in our text. So the font for this, the font I'm using for this is called Helvetica Bold. So here, and the size is 80. So I'm gonna center this by pressing Ctrl Alt Home and then Ctrl Home, and then go to effects and presets and then add bullet train effect to it. So double click on it, and then we get this effect. We create another composition, click OK, and then drop the 3 balls composition here, and then I'm gonna trim this to 3 seconds. I'm gonna import the logo as well, and then text as well. I'll make the text appear at 4th second. So I'll move this over here, and then have this 3 balls layer selected, go back a few frames, and then press S for scale, set a keyframe on scale, and go back a few frames again, and then set another keyframe and change the last one to 0. And now have logo layer selected, and then press S, set a keyframe on scale, and then go to the first keyframe of 3 balls layer, and then I've done that while holding shift to match the keyframes, and then set another keyframe to scale, and then change this first one to 0, and then select both of these keyframes, press F9 to easy ease. And then let's have a look. So after 4th second, text appears from here. So we want to move this to somewhere around here, and then we select logo layer. At 4th second, we press P for position, set a keyframe on it, and then we move 1 second, so to 5th second, and then we change the X position of it like so. Now let's have a look at it. So we can drag this and make it faster. Create a new composition and then call this final. Click OK and then drop this composition one onto the project and then turn this into 3D object. And if you don't see this, press F4 or just click on this toggle switches and then duplicate this, Ctrl D, and we'll change the name for the first one. So press enter and then rename this to reflection. And now press R. Now I'm gonna go to the end of the animation and then change the X rotation of it to around 180. And then I'll move this down like so. And then right click, go to new and create a new camera. We will be using this 28mm camera. Click OK. I'll move this up and then go to project and import the texture. Turn this into 3D object as well. And then press R, change its X rotation to 90. Now I'm gonna move this down as well while holding shift. I'll move it somewhere around here. And now create a new composition of it, so Ctrl Shift C and then rename it to texture. Click OK and then we will fix that by double clicking on texture composition and then go to effects and presets, add motion tile effect to it and then change the output height to 300. Now go back to effects and presets and type in brightness and contrast, double click on it, apply it into the texture and then we decrease the brightness and then increase the contrast. Now we go back to final composition and then right click, click on new adjustment layer and I'll have this over here and then go to effects and presets, type in compound blur and then change this, apply it onto the adjustment layer and then change this blue layer to texture. Now we can hide this texture and then increase the maximum blur amount so we can see the floor texture. So I'll have it at 55. Now select reflection layer and then go to effects and presets, type in Gaussian blur, double click on it to add it onto reflection and then we go back to the balls and then set a keyframe to blurriness and then blur dimensions too. So we press U to view the keyframes and then we move frame by frame, so page down to move frame by frame to the part where logo starts appearing, so here, and then we change this blur dimensions to vertical and here at the beginning of the keyframe we set the blurriness to about 200 to the part where we can't see the reflection and then here we change this to 15. So I'll move this to somewhere around here and then let's have a look at it. Okay, now I want to change I want to give this a background actually. So right click and then go to new solid, name this BG, and then put this down. And then go to effects and presets, type in gradient ramp, apply it into the BG layer, and then choose end color. We choose a blue color from this one, and then give it a darker blue color, and then swap the colors if you need to. And now I want to change the tint effect for the logo as well. So we go to logo composition, and then we change this one to some grayish color. So let's have a look at it now. I'll give this a darker color actually, so choose a darker color, and then let's have a look at it. Now I want to make the logo appear right after the balls disappear, so I go to composition 1 and then select this scale keyframes for logo, and then move this to here to match with the last keyframe of 3 balls. So whenever the balls disappear, logo appears right after. So let's have a look at it. Looking fine. And then we have to move this a bit forward as well to 3 seconds, I think. And I'll move this a little more, so there we go. Now I'm gonna go to right where the text appears. So here, somewhere around here, set a keyframe, go to camera, press P and then set a keyframe on position. Now go to the end of the animation and then increase the Z position. So we give it a zoom effect. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed and learned something along the way. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, hit the like button as well, and see you on the next video.